New ban list. Oh my god.
No freaking way! I
That
almost
that thing that thing they told us was gonna be here like what 3 whole fucking weeks ago.
three. No, you can't curse in the first 10 seconds. Now the video can't be monetized.
Oh beans. Hang on. Let's do this.
It's not like
Let's do,
we literally can't monetize our videos. We don't have enough subscribers.
oh, okay, so it doesn't matter then. Cool. Does it like
Yeah, it don't fucking matter.
does it affect the algo at all or like?
Nah, I don't think. No,
Oh,
they fixed that. Oh, okay, never mind. Fuck that shit.
so I have the image here. I've not looked at it correctly, but you know, I have an image. Someone put like handed me an image that said ban list on it. So we're gonna. Oh my god! Yeah,
No way.
That's about like most of what I expected to be here. Really.
Yeah, thank God those two fucking children are dead. I never want to see them again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think Galaxy like with the the Ko and Sayo and then also the new Sayo from like 22, like those decks were perfectly fine. I don't even like I think this saw more play in like stupid loop bullshit than proper Galaxy, so like yeah. I'm very glad that like we are starting to get a little bit more like liberal of actually banning cards now. I'm ready like
Yeah.
you know, it's still very like pulled back compared to other card games, but I'm very glad that like we are seeing cards that are just like, okay, no, like this just can't even be at 1. Thank God.
Yeah, and they're also like getting a lot more comfortable just doing pair bans because I think this is the second list in a row we've gotten a pair ban. It's like the third pair ban in general.
Yeah, because first one was like the Zubamon like loop that was with this fucking Ko and Sayo, I'm pretty sure, or it might have been the red one, I'm not sure. Then it was Mother Shoto, and now Valderarm cannot be put. I really like that they decided to do both Talmon and Sakya X as the B.
Yeah.
Because this makes it so like these are two of the most like critical cards in the Sakyamon strategy. So it's like
you can't
literally
cut either.
You like you could maybe like Sakyamon could theoretically like maybe be effective enough to get cut the one, but like both would just like kill the deck. So yeah, no, Valderarm is effectively not allowed to be in a proper Sakyamon list anymore. Which thank God this. Like, I would have preferred probably to just actually see Valderarm go, because I think this card is fucking super frustrating and, like...
Yeah.
It just promotes not fun, but I guess they gotta pretend people are playing the Excel deck still, so, yeah, just...
Yeah.
Getting rid of it, like, making it so it just cannot be played out of the most... like, in the actual most annoying deck that it was seeing play in, I'll take that. I'm really happy with that, I think.
Yeah. And then the limits.
The limits.
So... I am in the camp of all the zero-cost memory gain options should just be banned. I don't even think at 1 I want them in the game. I just want them all banned.
I think these are generally just cards that do not fit within the current like design space of Digimon anymore. Like these are cards that do not have a place in there. And so like we're still seeing this like with like Jack Raid especially, where it's like they hit the 1 and it just feels like a super frustrating, like super sacky, like thing to happen to you.
You drew the 1 of.
It is at least like, you know, doing it to Graph Crush specifically does like very much mitigate its main issue of Gil loop, like Gil Mill loop, whatever, just fucking playing like 4 of them, and because it's just the last turn of the game anyway. So
yeah,
I'm very like sure, like, you know, like the biggest problems are mitigated by this, but I still like I hate these cards. I despise these cards so much. So, like, I would prefer to see just all of this gone. The only one that's still at 4 is, like, the green one, and I'm pretty sure someone proved in, like, an Australian regional that card should also probably go, so look forward to that one next. Like, the moment, like, any green deck, like, becomes more meta-relevant, look forward to seeing that one gone.
I legitimately didn't even know green had one. And don't worry, Bandai will never, ever allow a green deck to be meta relevant ever again.
Okay, so
they just won't.
Next to Rush Gilmon and EX3 Growlmon. The Growlmon was an unexpected hit. I think everyone like pretty much immediately was like, well, it's gonna be Growl X, right? Like I think that might outside of like outside of Gravity Rush and like Sayo and Co, that must have been like the most consistent card I saw everyone agree upon on the like to hit the list. So it's really funny to see that that one's not there. But this actually does make sense. Like this, the EX3 Groundmon is so fucking stupid. Being able to like just mill two like or delete a small guy, but like more often than not, you're gonna get to just mill two of your own and mill two of the opponent, which is just double benefit in a like mill deck. And then the when attacking inherit, letting you like pop a fucking like like a Gilman or a Growlmon, like get like a memory or two back off of that, and then gain sec +1 was so fucking stupid. And then the rush Gilmons like really spoke for themselves. It's like those like what this now does is like, yeah, Growl X is a really powerful card, but all of the things that gave the Gil mill stuff so much aggression, like Growl X on its own needs to be facilitated by other cards that, you know, like actually like deliver the kill blow that he's setting up. And they've kind of removed a lot of Gil Mill's like resources to go for that kill. So yeah, Growl X is now like completely fine. I actually personally really like that they geared these hits specifically to the Gilmon like list, while making sure that, you know, these are all geared towards the Gil Mill in a way that actually does not hurt the Gallonmon X deck like at all, which is a completely like the other Gilmon deck that's like in meta and is completely fair. Like that deck, like honestly, that deck's probably going to see a massive boost in playability thanks to this list. Like it's probably one of the biggest winners, and they very smartly geared the free Gilmon hits to do exactly that, and I think they very much succeeded in that. So yeah, the no Growl X hit I was first a little on, but like the more I think about it, the more I think it is like actually like the smartest thing that they could have done.
I think this list in particular is a pretty good demonstration of them hitting the cause and not the symptoms, where like they are just banning the Sayo and Co. rather than trying to take out whatever cards are currently abusing the Sayo and Co. They're just like, okay, no, that card is fucking gone. Like, there are too many decks that abuse the loop. It's gone. The Geel and Growl are just like, they're hitting the engine pieces that enable the unfun bullshit rather than the cards that benefit and can do the unfun bullshit because of it. It's good. I'm glad they are doing this. I honestly think these two hits are better than just hitting the Growl X.
Yeah, I actually completely agree. I think like that Gil, like that Gil mill deck that effectively got so like optimized to the point of just not even needing to run anything with the name Gallonmon or Megidramon or even fucking War Groundmon in it is like super dead now. And it was clear that that was not like the design like idea behind even the you know the 21 stuff. So yeah, no, I'm very glad to see that gone. That deck was just like, not only was it arguably the best deck in the room, like, you know, Sakyamon and Royal Knight sort of like made arguments against it, but I genuinely thought that like the Gil deck was the best deck in the room. And like it is just like, if you've ever played against a deck, it is maybe, I'm not even joking, the most miserable Digimon deck to have ever fought against. You just don't get to play. It sucks. It is a awful garbage dog shit deck to fight against. Just not any fun whatsoever.
It's funny you mentioned Sakyamon, because looking at this list, I think that deck actually got hit the most.
It is very much like Gil, because the next hit, Garuda Mon X Antibody, is in itself also in a way a Gil hit, because people very much figured out that one of the best versions of this Gil mill deck that you can play is like do the low end, like everything up to Groundmon X, and then just fucking play birds on the top end.
Because of all their fucking main effects being get the on deletion effects of other stuff, then you can just do some truly absurd shit.
Plus, like, this Garudamon X, I think, is like more of an like, I mean, the on deletion inherit is fucking ridiculous. Flash stop card of your opponent's security. The your turn effect also was just fucking obnoxious. Being able to like give your rush deck like you know, say like you have one piece that did not have rush. This one, when you recur something from hand, which is what Garudamon just does naturally on play when digivolving, give it rush anyway, and then swing it into something, probably get a bunch of undeletes, and just keep turn. It's so fucking bad. This card sucked ass.
Yeah.
Like, I really like Birds, actually. I think Birds is a cool deck, but, like, it was clear Birds was moving in a very bad direction, and I think this very much forces it back into its intended playstyle, which, thank God.
Diamond, it's funny you bring up the Sakia Gil and Rapidmon, because Sakia was actually the worst of the three for a very long time.
For,
It's
like,
only
the
just
longest
recently.
All right, and now the Sakia hits,
Been reined in.
which, you know, obviously the Valor Arm thing is massive, not being able to play that anymore. And then also Digivolution Plugin S and Sakyamon. Yup, no, both are correct. Digivolution Plugin S was a card which should have got, like, they should have preemptively hit this last list. I don't know why they didn't. It is like, you have to understand this card is effectively just another fucking training. Like, in terms of at least like the Digivolution effect, it is so fucked up. It is like, when you have a Tamer in play, you may use this card with a Meeting's Call requirement. Draw one, then Digivolve into a Digimon card in your hand. It can Digivolve for a Digivolution cost of 3 or less without paying its Digivolution cost. Just fucking ridiculous. Absolutely absurd card. Was only at all reined in by the fact that Sakyamon was literally just unplayable for, like, most of this game's fucking life. And, like, yeah.
I'm actually genuinely surprised this card was not hit prior, because this kind of almost strikes me as just better HPD.
It's not
because you can use it for
HPD.
Well, it's not necessarily better, but
yeah, no, HPD is definitely better. But this is still like, come on, like what the fuck? And then the BT19 Sakia, which a lot of people like saw the Taumon as like the actual hit, because then you can, like, you know, that allows you to speed into this thing, and I'm very glad that they were like, no, we'll just hit the thing. I mean, just like I'm gonna read the first two keywords on this. When Digivolving, draw 2. Come on.
yeah.
Then you may use one single color option card with a use cost of 5 or less from your hand without 5 or less. What a fucking absurd range. Just ridiculous card. Like, no, there was, like, I understand, and I even at the time thought that Talmon was the hit, but now seeing this, it's like, yeah, no, there was, like, this card would have basically never, like, because, like, okay, you can hit the Talmon, but then Sakyamon gains support, and then this thing is, like, extremely playable again. Like, I think in order for any Sakyamon support to have been viable at all, which, there's a structured deck on the way, like, there was actually, like, no road but to just hit this card. Like, this is correct, I think.
Yeah. It's funny, because, like, the Talmon is only a problem because the payoff it gives you is so disgusting.
Yeah.
If they just print a new Sakyamon that's more reined in, it's fine.
Yeah. And then, okay.
Yeah, this
Royal Knights is the first one. Well, I mean, y'all know that this is my deck. This was a card that I initially was very against seeing get hit, but I've been able to sleep. Well, they've been able to let me sit on it for 3 whole weeks, so thanks for that, I guess. And I think I've come around to, yeah, this was the correct hit. There was just shit, like, this deck should not have been able to play, like, Gallonmon X or, like, Omnimon X with the level of playability that it did, and it was entirely because of this card. Being able to, like, purge out an Omni X, do, like, one swing, then just pop out a Gallonmon Crimson mode and go for a game is, like, ridiculous. It is just, like, the fact that basically the deck was almost entirely able to pivot away from the Omnimon win because of just, like, this card and an Omnimon X allowing you to just win the game. Like, I was saying it to, like, people in my locals, just like, yeah, no, there's very clearly, like, the aggression version of Royal Knight is the best version you can play, and it was, like, very definitely not a version that I wanted to play. So while this is a cool tool that the deck is losing, like, I get it, and this is going to force the deck en masse to, like, kind of return back to its control variant. I bet everyone's, like, we're going to be back to, like, 4 Omnimon, since it still does just win you, like, is now just your win con again. It's very interesting what cards are going to get better and worse out of this. Like, one card that immediately swings to my mind is, like, a victim of this is going to be, like, the BT13 Leopardmon, not being able to, like, be able to purge in and then out to make the Omnimon 10 as easily as it used to be, is definitely going to hurt that card's playability. there's a lot of stuff that like we're gonna have to test with. I think the Jesmon GX Ace might get worse off of this. You definitely don't like just do not even entertain playing things like Gallon X and like the aggro versions of the deck anymore. It also definitely like the main thing that this card like did back then was sort of, it was like your main barrier against like floodgate rookies, like specifically the play cost reduction rookie. Thankfully, I think with like cards like Cool Boy and the new All Force Ace, the deck has enough like options to counter that sort of strategy now. We still have Omekamon being able to be tucked into Yggdrasil and just being able to go for a massive Omni X on the board. We still even have like a very easy way to get like the new Omekamon out now thanks to the new Leopardmon Ace. I would say that, obviously this is definitely a pretty big hit to this deck's like insane memory efficiency more than anything, and obviously the aggro variant is pretty dead because of this. But like, this is still a deck that says you can go Alphamon or you can Ace for 2 memory in your second turn. Like,
yeah,
like the toolbox. Yeah. This is still like Royal Knight is still like absolutely the game's most powerful toolbox, maybe just in general. So I do think this deck is still totally playable. I do actually find it really funny that like there was kind of an agreed upon top 3 between Sakyamon, Gil Rush, and Royal Knight by far got off the easiest.
Which is really funny, but I feel like this hit by itself is probably enough to kind of like rein it in line with the rest of the stuff.
At the very least, it does what I think the Banlist often is actually attempting to do, which is rein decks back into their intended play style.
Mm-hmm.
So, pretty happy with that. And then I think I was actually like last night not excited for this ban list because I was so specifically like worried about exactly one thing, which is like the rest of the meta gets astroturfed, and then the only actually super playable thing is either that like really insane like Gankumon deck that just says you can't interact with me, or any deck that plays Alterez. In particular, people like in the last like couple of weeks seem to have discovered this like really insane Garurumon strategy that basically allows you to continue to use Omnimon Alter S alongside the EX1 Garurumon to just keep gaining memory back and then indefinitely continue your turn and just be a completely uninteractable deck. And I was kind of worried, especially for this one, that deck might have been discovered too late for the ban list. And I really do feel like they kind of noticed that one last minute and were like, well, fuck, okay, throw the EX1 like Melga on there, given that it's like literally the last card on this fucking graphic.
Yeah, I actually didn't even know about that until you just explained it, because I was looking at this Garurumon, I'm like, what the fuck is this thing doing here?
I think we talked about this in Ellie's server. But yeah, so the fact that they caught this in time and were like, no, this version of that deck is not going to be playable is super nice. Very happy about that. At this point, I would imagine the best version of that like an Ultra S deck you can play right now is the like Nokia Omnimon DNA deck. Which is still like and really ridiculous that can effectively like OTK you into the sun if it has exactly the right hand, which is like people have figured out ways to like cycle it like that deck into getting the perfect hand, but it still requires a lot of pieces. You still can get fucked on draws, less than initially, but like you can still get fucked on them, and it is a combo that can like especially if you go into like the BT22 Omnimon can like lose to like a well-timed ace and stuff. So it is absolutely like a tier 1 deck, but it is not completely uncontestable the way that like this Melga deck seemed to be shaking out. So I think this like this single Melga hit like turned this list from like potentially like terrifying into like and this feels insane for me to say as a Royal Knight fan, like, about a list that had a Royal Knight in it. Maybe one of the best ban lists we've ever seen. Like, I think that this does exactly for the meta what it needs to do. I think we're about, like, this leads us into a very fun time for the meta where we're going to see a lot of playable decks. Like, I think there's going to be a lot of, like, lower-end stuff from 22 and 21 that's going to, like, rise to prominence. I think decks like Royal Knight and, like, Galamon X are still going to be very playable. I think things like Velgar and Imperial really won on this one and are going to see like a higher play rate as well. And I think this also leaves more room in the meta for some of the stuff from EX10 to really make a splash. So, yeah, no. The only thing at this point that I would have wanted to see hit is Alter S, because I genuinely think that was a fucking that's a card that like the card dev team just kind of was asleep at the wheel on, but you know.
That was the one thing I was gonna add, was like, I really would have liked to seen the Alter S limit here, but it's like the only complaint I have.
And it's like, I understand that card was genuinely too new to do that with. Like, I get it, but
Yeah.
it's like, man, it is like the one problem I really have. Actually, I would have liked to see someone done that fucking Gankumon deck as well. Like, that Gankumon deck is not fun. And I'm really worried about how prominent that one might end up being, but I guess time will tell on that one. But other than that, I think that this is a wonderful list for the meta, and does basically all it needs to the decks that it needed to do it to.